All right, here we go. So guys, today we are finally going to look at how to do authentication, how to manage the users, how to create a login page, how to create a logout page, registration page, and all those things. Right? And finally, we are also going to see how to restrict certain pages. Right? So currently, anyone can view the tasks, anyone can create the tasks. We want only logged in users to be able to create tasks and view their tasks. Right? So today we'll see how to do that. Perfect. So let me quickly share my screen and then we'll begin. All right. Just give me one moment while I change my resolution as well. All right, now my screen should be visible to everyone. So let me quickly walk you through what project we have, what template we have at starting, and then we will see how to add things to it. Okay, perfect. So let us quickly look at what applications we have. So we have this to-do project. Inside this to-do project, we have two applications at the moment. One application is pages. The other application is tasks. Now, tasks is what you're familiar with. Right? So let me quickly close all these windows over here. Right now, tasks is what you're familiar with. It has this nice admin for creating tasks and for creating tags. It has forms, the tasks form and the tag form. In the models, we have the task status, the tag, the task, and all these different things. In the views, we have an index that will show all the tasks and show all the tags. And we have two methods. So we have one view for adding a task and one view for adding a tag. Right? This is the familiar part we have. And this is all plugged in the urls.py. All right. The other application that we currently have is this pages application. It has very simple views. So there's one view over here called contact. And this is the contact us form that we have made earlier in one of the previous videos. Right. Apart from that, in the URLs, we see, so this is what this is the contact us form. But apart from that, we have two more pages. One is the home.html and one is the about.html. And these don't really have corresponding views to them. These are just directly rendered from the template. All right. And if I look at the templates folder now, in the templates folder for pages, I have three templates: about, contact, and home. You can see in the about page, it is just a very simple about page, a blank about page. In the home page, we have a blank home page with two links, right? With two links, login and sign up. And currently, these two links don't really point to anywhere. All right, so we have to fill this up. But we have a very blank, simple about page, home page. And in the contact page, once again, we have this nice simple contact form. All right. Now at the tasks, the templates, once again, in the index just shows all the tasks and all the tags for us. The add task renders a form, and the add task tag also renders a form so that we can add those things. All right. So I have went ahead and I have created the database. I have migrated to the database and I have also created a super user. Right. So basically, now if I go to my application and I go to /admin, let me run the server first. I go to my application and I go to /admin. I can log in using my super user that I have created. So I can say Pragya and my password over here. And this gives me the familiar admin interface that we have already seen. Right? So we can look at the tasks, what tags I have added and what tasks I have currently added. All right. Perfect. Now, currently I am the user. Currently I am the super user who is associated with these tags and these tasks. Right? If I look at my model, I look at my task model or my tag model, then I will see in this tag model, it says nowhere who this tag belongs to. Right? A particular user is not specified over here. So basically these tags and these tasks, they exist independently of the user, which basically means that if I create another super user, and that super user goes to the same admin interface, they will also be able to see all the tags and all the tasks that I have created. I do not perhaps want that. I want people to be able to log in and sign up on my website And I want the tags and tasks that one person has created to be personal to them so that others can't view them. All right. Perfect. So let us quickly see how we can accomplish that. Cool. So the first thing that we are going to need to do is let us quickly create a new application for holding all these user account information. All right, so we are going to go to terminal and we are going to enter the command. So what is the command for creating a new application in Django? Very simply, it is Python manage.py and startup. And inside this startup, we are going to manage.py. Oh, I have to give a name for the application. So let me name the application something like accounts. All right. So the moment I do that, something will appear on the left hand side over here. So a new folder called accounts has been created, and it has the very simple the blank data files. Right. So let me quickly install this. So I'm going to go to my settings, and over here I'm going to install this accounts application. So I'm going to say accounts.apps.account config. Okay. So this application is now installed. Let us quickly look at the models, the admin and the views as well. So currently we have nothing really here. So let us add some things. Okay. So let us first of all create some views for this account manager. Right. So let us create a login view. So we are going to have a def login perhaps. This is going to take a request and it is going to do something with it. Right. So perhaps it is going to render a template. So for now I can just say render or return render, and I can pass the request in and I can give a template name. So the template name perhaps is going to be accounts/login.html, right? Perfect. So currently we have this. Let me also create a logout form or a register form over here. Register, and this is going to just return account/register.html. Now notice that these templates have not been created so far. If I look at my templates directory, I just have these folders, pages and tasks. I don't really have the login and logout forms. So let me quickly create some new blank templates over here. So I'm going to create a new directory inside this, call this accounts. And inside accounts, I'm going to create two files. So one HTML file called login and the other one. So let me just name this as login and the other one as register. And for this one, let me just call this as sign up. Right. So once again, this is the blank sign up page, sign up, and this is the blank register or login page, login. All right. Now let me go ahead and let me plug these URLs as well. So in the accounts app, I'm going to go to the views and I'm going to create a urls.py for this. So I'm going to insert a new file and I'm going to create a Python file. Let me call this urls.py. And inside this, I'm going to enter that familiar thing, URL patterns equals to and path. Inside this, I'm going to give a path, something like if someone goes to login, then please send this template. So from .import views, please give this view. So views.login, right? And I can give this a name such as login as well. And then finally, I can have one for this or register as well. This will give the register view. And I can perhaps have one for logout as well. So logout, and I will have to add a logout view as well, and this will be logout. All right. Let us figure out how to manage this logout view later on. So currently we have these things. Let me import this path thing as well. So from Django.urls import path, and from views, let me create a dummy function def logout that also accepts a request, and that currently does nothing. Right. So it returns none. Perfect. So we have these three things set up. So if I run my server again, my server which is currently running, if I go to the application, I can go to this particular page. These login and sign up buttons still do not work because I have told it this urls.py that, hey, these are the paths, but I have not really plugged this urls.py in to my main settings. So I'm going to go to the to-do project in the urls.py. I'm going to include this. So I'm going to say add a path, and the location of that path is going to be nothing. So if someone goes to a blank path, then please include this accounts.urls inside that. All right. So now that these have been plugged in, I can reload my application. If it works, let me quickly see what the error is. It is saying that does not appear to have patterns in it. Accounts urls.py. Interesting. Let's figure that out. So basically, in the to-do project, in the settings, I have accounts config registered. I have the tasks config registered. I have pages config registered. If I just do this, include URL conf module, does not appear to have any patterns in it. Oh, URL patterns. Okay, I've basically renamed this incorrectly. So let me go to the views of URLs of the account, and there's no underscore over here. Right, so it's a simple variable. So now my server is up and running, and I can go to these login pages, and I can go to the register page. Right, so currently they don't really have anything. So I'm going to create the login and registration forms over here. Perfect. So let us first look at how Django basically provides authentication to us. Right? How Django provides authentication. If I go to these settings, if I go to my project settings, I see that in the installed apps, automatically django.contrib.auth has been installed for me. Right? Along with auth, some other things like some other dependencies of this authorization toolkit, like sessions, messages, content types, these are also automatically included for me. Now I can totally remove these, but I don't really want to remove these because Django provides me a lot of features for user registration and user creation that we are going to use from here. Okay, so let us quickly look at this module. So inside this accounts thing, let us go to the views and let us quickly import this. Try to import this this module. So we are going to say from django.contrib.auth, and let us see what things we have over here. So if I go to the source code of this, I will see I have tons and tons of different things over here, right? So I have things like authenticate, I have things like login, I have things like I have a function called logout, and I have get user, and I have many other things, right? Perfect. So let us see what other things we have inside auth. I also have several things like models, decorators, views, forms, admin, and so on. So if I look at the models, then inside this, it provides me a user model by default. Okay. Now, once again, let us look at what the source code of this user model says. So by default, what does Django provide us in this user model? So I'm going to go to the source of this. And inside this, I see that, okay, it inherits from abstract user, and there's nothing really else over here. So let me go to abstract user and let me see what this is about. So abstract user has several things. It has a username out of the box, which is a character field. It has a first name, a last name, and email. It has the is staff status, which is the super user status. It has is active. It has date joined. It has objects. It has email field, username field, and required field. Right. So it provides a ton of different things for us. Now it is totally possible to customize this user field. Right? It is totally possible in Django to create your own user object or your own user model, which basically takes some things from the built-in user model, or you can completely remove that and create your complete new user model as well. Right? But 90% of the time, in 90% of the cases, you will not need to do that because the user model that Django provides, it is pretty robust and it works for most of it will work for most of your requirements. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to simply import this user module or this user model, and we are going to work with this. Perfect. So let us quickly look at this registration page over here. Now in this registration page, we want to give a form to the user to create a user account, right? So let us quickly create a form. So I'm going to insert a new file, and in this file, I'm going to call this forms.py. Right? For forms.py, I'm going to add a couple of things. So first of all, let me import this model. So from django.contrib.auth, import user, dot models, import user. Right? And let me also see what forms Django provides us out of the box. So from django.contrib.auth.forms, I see we have a user creation form that is available over here. So I have a user creation form and I have a user change form as well. As the name suggests, user creation form is for creating a new user. User change form is to change an existing user that we have. All right. So let me quickly import the user creation form over here. So all right, I have this in forms. I have not really created anything. So I perhaps don't need to import it here. I can directly do it in the views perhaps. Right. So in the views itself, I can say from django.contrib.auth forms import user creation form. All right, and I will quickly go ahead in the registration page. I will check. So once again, when we are working with forms, we can have two types of requests: the post request or the get request. If it is a post request, we should create the object. If it is any other request, right? If it is a get request or a put request, we should render out our form, right? So we will check over here if request dot method equals to post, then we will render the form out. So we will say form equals to user creation form, right? Else, if the request is not, so this is again, so if the request is post, then we will create a form or user creation form from the request's data. So request dot post, right? And we will basically say if the form is valid. If the form is valid, we will simply save this user. So we will say user equals to form dot save, right? And then we will have to somehow log in this user, log in and authenticate this user, right? Or basically, yes, this should be it. Okay. On the other hand, if it is not a post request, if it is a get request or some other kind of request, we can create a blank user form and we can simply render this form out to the registration page. So we will provide it some context over here. We will say form and we will provide it the form. Perfect. Now that we have this, now that we are sending this information to the registration page, let us quickly add the template for it. So once again, I'm going to go to accounts and register.html. Currently, we just have this blank sign up page. So I'm going to create a form inside this. So as you're all familiar with this, to create a form using Django, it is very simple. I have to create a form. I have to provide it an action. The action is going to be the same URL. So I'm going to leave it blank so that it automatically submits to the same URL. My method for this is going to be post. Right? And this is very important, guys. Whenever you are creating a registration form, please make sure registration and login forms, the method should always be post, because you don't want your password, your username and password to show up in the URL, right? That will be a disaster. So always make sure that your registration and login pages are post. Okay, cool. So inside this form, we are going to include very quickly the CSRF token. So this is to prevent cross-site request forgery. And then we can include the form as a table. So we are going to quickly open a table over here. And we are going to say form dot, so as table, right? So this will neatly render that form out. And after that, we will also need to provide our sign up button. So I'm going to add a new row in this table. So I'm going to use a PR. Inside this, I'm going to add a new column in this table. And the call span for this can be 2. Call span for this can be 2. All right, and I'm going to create a sign up button over here. So I'm going to say input, and the type for this will be submit, and the name for this will be submit, and the value for this will be sign up, right? Right. Now let us quickly go to the login. Let us quickly go to the sign up page. Oh, sorry. So this URL is not working so far. So let us go to the registration page and we see this form rendered out. Okay, so let us quickly see what this form provides us out of the box. It provides us a username. It provides us 2 password fields. Right. So this is the primary password field, and this is another password. This is another password. This is the password confirmation field. Well, just the username and the password probably not enough, right? I would perhaps want to add other fields. I would perhaps want to add other fields to this particular form. So how can I do that? Well, I can customize this form. To customize this form, I will have to inherit this form, right? So I'm going to look at this user creation form and I'm going to create my own form. So I'm going to say class create user form, right? And I'm going to inherit from the user creation form. Okay. In this, I'm going to add the meta class. I'm going to say that the model equals to user, and I'm going to provide it some extra fields, for example. Right? So I'm going to say that, all right, please include the following fields. So we have the username by default, right? I also perhaps want to include the email field, right? So currently my form doesn't really have an email field. I perhaps want to add that because people need their emails to sign up. Okay. After that, I'm going to add, I want these 2 password fields to appear as they are. Right? So now quickly look at what these password fields look like. So the name for the password field is password1, right? And the name for the password field is password2. So let me quickly include these as well in my fields list. So password1 and password2. All right. So basically, by doing something as simple as this, I have customized my user creation form. I have basically added the field for email for it. Now, once again, in the accounts, in the views of accounts, I need to use this new form that I have created. Right? Instead of the default user creation form, I have to use this form. So I will be using from.forms import create user form, and I will be using this form instead. So at both these locations, I will be using the create user form. And now if I reload my application, you will see that the email address field has also appeared over here. All right, perfect. Now currently, if we fill this out, if we put some stuff over here, so if you try to fill this form out, interviewbit.com, and we try some password out, when we click sign up, this user will automatically be created. So currently, it does all the validation for us. So notice very nicely that when I'm getting the data, I'm checking if the form is valid, only then I'm saving the user. So currently, I tried to create a user with the username Pragya, and it gave me the error that a user with this username already exists. Right? So remember that my super user has the same name Pragya. So it will not allow me to create the same user once again. So let us create some other user. For example, let us create Raghav. Right? So let us say that we have Raghav over here. Raghav has raghav@interviewbit.com, and we will have the same password for Raghav. Right. So if I click sign up, Raghav will be created. Right. So currently, I did not really get a message over here. I did not really get a message over here that hey, Raghav was created, because I did not really do anything. Right. I did not really do anything to log in and authenticate this user. But if I go to my admin portal, then I will be able to see, if I log in with my super user, in the users table, I will be able to see that yes, Raghav actually has been created. Right? Raghav has been created, his email address has been provided, and he is not a super user. All right, perfect. So basically, once I have registered a user, what should I do? What usually happens when you go to a website and you register a new user, when you sign up, what will happen? So some sort of a confirmation email will be sent to you, right? We will look at that later, how to send confirmation emails. But what apart from that happens when you click sign up? You get redirected back to the login page. Right? You get redirected back to the login page. So what I can do over here is I can just return a redirect to the login page. All right, so let me just import this redirect function from Django.shortcuts. And basically, this since this login page, if I look at the urls.py, this is the login page, right? This page has the name login. So it will automatically redirect me to this views.login page over here. All right, let's try that once again. So I'm going to go to the sign up page. I'm going to create a new user. So something like we have Pranay. So we are going to say pranay@interviewbit.com. And we are going to add a password. We are going to keep the password same. And now if we click sign up, it will actually redirect us to the login page. All right. Perfect. So far, so good. So on the login page, we should also have a login form. So remember that the user has just signed up for now. The user still needs to log in with their credentials. All right. So let us go to this and let us create this login page. So in this login page, we will have to provide some sort of a user login form over here. Right. So we are going to come over here and say that, okay, we are going to say, let us create a login form. So for this login form, we will have two fields. Well, very simply, we will have the username and we will have the password. So let us first of all go to the login.html and let us create a form. So the action is going to be blank. The method is going to be post. And inside this form, I will have a very simple, I'll first have the CSRF token. So SRF token followed by the two inputs for username and password. So I can come over here and I can say something like, I can start a table. And inside this table, I can provide a row. Inside this row, I can have a th username and a td. So I let me just make these tds. td for password. So input type equals to password. Name equals to password. Right. So let me just format these out nicely. So we have this. So this is the first row, and inside this we can give a placeholder. So placeholder can be something like password itself. So password, right? And let us create. Oh, sorry, this is for the password thing. Let me also create a new row for the password as well, right? So let me rename this as password. So password will have a password input. The username will be just text, right? So it will just be a text of it, username. And I will have the placeholder will be username over here. Okay, let us quickly reload the login page and see. We see that these two fields nicely shown. Right, this is the password field and this is the username field. Let me provide a sign up button over here as well. So I'm going to provide a new row, and inside this new row, I'll create a new column with call span equals to 2. And inside this column, I'm going to provide an input field, and the type of this will be submit. The name of this will be submit, and the value will be login. Login. All right. Now, if we click reload, we have this nice login page over here. So let us try to log in now. If I enter my credentials, plug A and some password, if I click login, nothing really happens because we have not really done with this form. Right? We have not done anything with this form. It is just on the front end point. Right? Let us add the backend code for this login page. So I'm going to once again go to this login view, and I'm going to once again check if the request is post or get. So I will check over here if the request.method equals to post, then I will have to get the data from this login form. So I will say that username equals to request.post username. So I'm going to get the username field, and similarly I'm going to get the password field. And now I have to do several things. So I have to somehow I have to find out if any such user is present. Once I find that out, I will have to log in that user, right? And then I will have to send the user to their dashboard. All right, this is what I have to do. On the other hand, if that is not the case, then I can simply return this render request, right? I can simply return the login page. Perfect. So how do we really authenticate the user? So let us go to the admin side once again, and let us look at this user called Raghav. In this user called Raghav, you will notice that the password that I entered over here, that is not really visible over here, right? And Django will never save the password as text because that is a very bad practice. So what Django will always do is it will automatically convert your password into a hash. It will automatically convert your password into a hash. It will add some salt to it, and it will store the hashed password for you, right? So this all automatically happens when you use this user creation form. This automatically happens. So we don't have to worry about that. But when we are logging the user in, we can't just look in the table for the username and the corresponding password. We have to actually hash this password once again. And we have to use the same salt that was saved for this particular username. So Django provides us several features, and Django provides us several functionalities to allow us to do that as well. So there's a function in Django called authenticate, right? And this function comes from django.contrib.auth. Right, so from this particular location, Django contrib auth, it provides a nice function called authenticate. And let us quickly see what authenticate requires. So authenticate requires, first of all, it requires a request, and then it requires some credentials. So we are going to provide the current request. And for the credentials, we have to provide the username equals to username. We have to provide the password equals to password. Right. So basically, what this method will do is it will check if any such username exists. If such a username exists, it will check if the password matches, right? And if the password matches, it will actually give me back the user object. So authenticate will not actually log the username. Authenticate does not log the username. Authenticate just tries to check if there is any user with this username and this corresponding password. If the user exists, then please return me back the user. All right. So it could be the case that any such user does not exist. So authenticate will either return me a user object or it will return none. Right, so I will have to come over here and check if user is not none. Right, so if the user is not none, then yes, some user was available to me, and now I have to log that user. So once again, for that, Django provides me this nice function auth login. For in this, I can just provide the request and the object of the user. So I can import this auth login once again from django.contrib.auth. I can import this login function, and I can just import this as login as auth login. Right, so the auth login. So basically the reason I'm renaming this function over here is because I have a function of my own, right? So this function is called login. I have a function of my own called login. I want to distinguish between this function and this function, which is why I'm importing this function with a new name called auth login. All right. Now to log this user in, I can just simply pass this user object in this request. And now I can redirect this user to their dashboard. So I can redirect to their dashboard, right? Perfect. So let us try this out. So I'm going to reload this page now. I'm going to reload this page and let me enter the details. So plug here and the password over here. If I hit enter, I am getting an error. It is saying no reverse for dashboard found. Right. So basically, I have said that, hey, please go to the dashboard. But if I look at my URLs, I have not really provided what dashboard really means, right? I have just login, register, and log out. I don't really have any sort of dashboard over here. Fine enough. So let us create this dashboard as well. I'm going to create this dashboard in the pages directory, in the pages app. So I'm going to go to URLs and I'm going to add a very simple dashboard view over here. I'll call this dashboard. And let me also create this function over here. So I'm going to create this page, def dashboard, and it will accept the request. And for now, it will just render out a template. So I will just return render request, comma, the template name will be pages/dashboard.html. Perfect. So let us create this template as well. So I'm going to go to pages and I'm going to create a new template called dashboard. So dashboard, and inside this, I will say something like inside the dashboard, I will say to app. I will say welcome, and I need to provide the username over here. I want to provide the username over here. So I will have something over here, right? I will have some sort of the username over here, right? Okay. After that, once the dashboard is over there, then I will need to provide some logout button. I don't really need the sign out button. What else do I need? So I will need to show them their tasks and their tags. So I will have a H1 tag thing over here. So my tasks. And inside this, I will render out the tasks. I will have another H1, which will say my tags. And over here, we will render out the different tags. Apart from that, we will also give them two nice buttons over here. So basically for adding a task and for adding a tag. So I will have a over here, and this will link out to something, and this will say add a new task. And similarly, I will have one for add a new tag. So we will complete this out. But for now, we have a very simple dashboard page that looks like this. All right. So it says welcome. It should say my name over here. It provides a nice logout button. It then gives me my tasks. It gives me a link for adding a new task. It gives me my tags and a link for adding these new tags. Perfect. So let us move on now. So we will fill this out later on, but let us see what things we need to do over here. Now, suppose that we went to this login page, right? So we are back in this accounts login page. So where did it go? It is in accounts and inside views, right? If the user made an error over here, right? If the username and password did not correspond to any user, then I should also return something, right? I should basically provide some sort of error message. to the user. Now, Django provides us a very nice feature, which is called messages, right? So I can simply come over here and say, I can add a message, messages.error, right? And I can add the message to this request, and I can provide it an error like username or password is incorrect. And I can import this messages. So this messages comes from django.contrib.messages. Okay. So I have imported django.contrib.messages. And basically now what will happen is this message that I have sent over here, this will be attached to my request. Okay. And basically it will be available on the front end. So on the front end, if someone makes an error, if someone is on this login page and they make an error, I can also render out these messages over here. So basically I can come over here and I can say something like for message in messages, and I can render this message out. So I will say end for, and I will provide the message over here. So I will say message. Let us quickly see this in action. I will currently, let me go to currently the logout page is not working. So let me first of all implement the logout functionality so that I can show you this login thing working. Or let me actually directly go to the login page. In this login page, let me try to enter some username and some wrong password. And when I click login, it shows me that it didn't return a HTTP response object. Interesting. Let us go to the views again. Sorry, let us go to the account views again. And all right, so basically I can do this over here. I can return directly so that even if this fails, I will still return this particular page over here. So let me go to login once again. Let me enter an incorrect username and incorrect password. Let me click login. And it shows me that yes, user or password is incorrect. If I actually give the right username and password, if I click login now, it will automatically log in and send me to my dashboard. All right. Perfect. So we have the login page working. So just like Django provided us login and this authenticate function, Django also provides us a very nice logout function. So it also provides a logout function, which I can also import as auth logout. And what this logout function will do is it will simply log the current user out. So in this thing, in the logout view, I can simply come over here and I can say auth logout, and I want to log whatever user is currently active on this page. All right. So now if I go to /logout, then it will automatically log my user out. And currently I have to return. So once I have logged out, I must go back to either the home page or I must go back to the login page. So let us redirect the user back to the login page. Right. So if someone goes to log out, he will be logged out and he will be redirected to the login page. Okay. So now we have these things. Now let us quickly go to our templates and let's fill these things. So inside the login page, I should have a link to the sign up page as well. Right. So this is login. Otherwise, I should also have a link to the sign up page. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say or sign up. Right. I'm going to add a h tag with the reference to. So I'm going to put the URL for the register page over here. And I'm going to say something like sign up or create a new account. All right. And now if I click save, if I go to the login page, I have this new thing, create a new account, which is going to the register page. And if I click over here, I will be sent to my sign up page. Once again, on the sign up page, I should have a link for the login page. So I'll go to this register page as well. And over here, I will say, or if you already have an account, login, or basically login, if you already have an account, and this will go to the login page. So now if I reload this user page, I will see this login if you already have the account. That will take me to the login page. Let me also go to the home page. And in the home page, I should plug these values in, right? So currently in the home page, the login and the sign up buttons, they are not really doing anything. So let me include the URLs over here as well. So this URL will be, this will be a URL for the login page. And this will be a URL for the logout page or for the sign up page, register page. All right. So these links should be included on all the pages. Right? These links should be included on the about page as well. It should be included on the contact page as well. Right. Perfect. Now, if I quickly reload, I have this once again. Now this login pages and these sign up pages, they do work. Okay. Now there's a catch over here. So if the user is already logged in, right? So let me suppose that I quickly log in over here. So I am currently logged in. Right? Now, if I go to the home page once again, I still see this login page. Instead of seeing this link to the login, I should now see the link to this logout thing. Right? So basically, if there is no user which is logged in, then only I should show the login page, or then I should show the link for the login page. Otherwise, I should be showing the link for the logout page. Does that make sense, guys? Yes. To do that, we can come over here in the login page, in the home.html, and we can provide a condition over here. So we can say that, hey, if the request.user and this is a function that Django, this is a property that Django provides. So is authenticated. If my current user is authenticated, only in that case, I will render out the logout page. In that case, I will render out the logout page, logout, right? Otherwise, so we are going to have else. I'm going to show the link to the login page over here, and I'm then going to end the if condition, end if. Okay, so let me quickly reload this. So currently, since I'm logged in, I will see this logout link over here. If I click logout, it will send me back to the login page. But if I go back to my home page, it will show me the login link. All right. So only when I'm logged in, will it show me the login page, logout page over here in the home HTML. Right. So let me quickly copy this. And let me replace this thing on all these pages, on the about page as well, right? And on the contact page as well. So this is kind of uniform. Now notice over here, I am violating the dry principle, right? So in computer science, we have this dry principle that says, do not repeat yourself. Now over here, I have this once again. I have this again and again, right? I'm copy pasting the same thing in different things. So can you guess how to basically remove this repetition? We saw this, right? So in the starting lectures, we saw how to work with templates and we saw how to create a base template. So we are not going to do that right now, but in tomorrow's class, we will actually bring all of this together and we will actually make a nice base template in which we will have all these different links so that we don't repeat ourselves. All right. For now, in the dashboard, let me also render out several things. So just give me a moment. Right. So basically over here, I basically want to display what the name of the user is. So how do I access the user object? I can simply do request.user, right? And once again, I should have the logout page should be pointing to the URL for logout. And since the user is already logged in to the for the dashboard, I do not really need to show them any sort of sign up page or any sort of login page. All right. Now in the tasks, I can come over here and render the tasks as well. So I can say something like I can say perhaps. So I will need to add the tasks value over here. So I will say I will create a new UL, and inside this I will provide for task in tasks, and I will simply render the task code. So I will say li and task, and I will end this for loop and for, and similarly for the tags, I will also render out the tags. So I will say my tags for tag in tags and render the tag out. All right. So basically we have this nice welcome page which shows our user. We have this logout page. After that, we have the tag tasks and we have the tags. All right. Perfect. Let us quickly close this UL field down. And inside this, we are going to add two views for the adding task and for the adding a tag thing. All right. Perfect. We already have these views, right? We already have these views. So if I look at these tasks, if I look at this tasks application, inside my views, I already have views for adding a tag and adding a task. So if I go to URLs, these are called add task and add task, add tag. So I can come over here and inside this dashboard page, I can provide these URLs over here. So I can say for adding a tag, please send the user to the URL of add tag. And for the adding a task thing, please send the user to the URL of added task. Okay. So far so good. Let us quickly see this in action. So I'm going to once again log out. I'm going to sign in now with my account. Right. I click login and I see welcome Pragya. Right. So my name has been displayed over here. Currently, none of my tasks are showing up because in the backend I have not really given them any tasks. Right. In the backend I have not really given them any tasks. This add a new task will send me to this page that will add a new task. Similarly, this add a new tag will send me to this page which will add a new tag. All right, perfect. Now let me quickly try to display all the tasks over here. So once again, I can go to this dashboard view. So I am in this pages, in the views. In the dashboard, instead of just rendering the dashboard page out, I should also show all the tasks. Right? I should also show all the tasks. So perfect. Let us quickly get the tasks over here. So we can say tasks equals to tasks.objects.all, and similarly tags equals to tag.objects.all. And let us quickly import these two different models that we have, tasks and tag. Right? And then we are going to simply provide it a context. In the context, we are going to say tasks equals to tasks and tags equals to tags. All right, cool. Let us quickly see this in action. So I'm going to go to my dashboard and I'm going to hit reload. And I see that, yes, I see my tasks and I also see my tags. Let me click logout now. Let me show you something interesting. If I click logout, so notice that we had an account for Raghav as well. Right? So if we now log in as Raghav, okay, it says that it was incorrect, Raghav. So even for Raghav, I see the same tasks and the same tags. That is not right. Does that make sense? This is not good. In fact, I am logged in as Raghav. If I create a new task, so this task is by Raghav, right? And I add this task, I see this task over here. But if I log out and I log in as my username, I will still see this task over here, right? And once again, the reason for this is the task and the tag objects, they are not really associated with any user object for now. All right. In fact, what I can even do is I can press the logout button and I can manually go to this URL dashboard. Right. So currently no one has been logged in, but if I go to the dashboard, it shows me welcome anonymous user. So by default, if you are not logged in, Django provides you a username called anonymous user, right? And it still shows you all the tasks and the tags. So this is not good. So what we need to do for this is we need to associate these tags and these tasks. We need to associate these tags and these tasks with the user entity. So we are going to go to this tasks model, and in the tag, we are going to provide the user for this. So we are going to say user equals to models.foreign key, right? So this will make this task belong to a particular user, and we will provide a model. So the model will be user, and we will say on delete equals to models.cascade, right? Perfect. So this user object is what we have imported from the Django authentication models. So let me copy this for the tag as well, and let me paste this for the task as well, right? So the moment I have done this, now my database is invalid. In fact, this is not something that I can very simply solve via the migration. Right? I can run a migration for this, but running a migration for this is not a very good idea, because I mean the earlier model did not really have users associated with tags or tasks, right? So let me quickly do one thing. Let me drop this database. So I'm going to remove this database, and let me recreate this database. So I'm also going to remove this migration inside the tasks. This was the migration that we had created. I'm going to remove this migration as well, and let me do this up fresh. So now I'm going to say python manage.py make migrations. It will create the migrations, and let me also migrate my database. The moment I have migrated my database, I have a blank database now. I do not really have any tasks in this, and I do not really have any tags in this. No super users are also there, right? So all my user accounts, everything is now gone. Okay, everything is now gone. Okay. So let me quickly do certain things now. So first of all, if the user is not logged in, should they be able to go to this dashboard? If the user is not logged in, should they be able to go to this dashboard? Of course not, right? The user should log in before they can access their dashboard. So we want to provide some sort of a constraint over here. So if we go to this dashboard view, we only want the logged in users to be able to access this. Okay, so for that we can provide something like so Django provides a very nice decorator for us. So we can come over here and we can say from django.contrib.auth decorators, we can import the login required decorator, right? And basically, if you put this decorator on top of this function, login required, I can say that, okay, please make sure that whoever comes to this particular location, whoever comes to this particular view, they are logged in. And if they are not logged in, then please redirect them to this particular login URL. Right? So redirect them to the login URL. All right. So now if I click save and I try to reload this page, since I'm not logged in at the moment, if I hit enter, it will instead redirect me to the login page. And over here, notice it says login next equals to dashboard. So the moment I log in, it will send me back to the dashboard page. All right. Perfect. Now, once so over here, my user will be logged in. Right. So I should not show them all their objects. Instead, I should show the tasks for this user itself. I should show the tags for this user itself. So I will get the user object over here. I will say user equals to request.user. Right, so let me get the correct user. And for the tasks, let me only get this user's tasks. So user.taskset.all. And for the tags as well, let me say user.tagset.all. Right? And now I can render the tasks and the tags. Perfect. So just like the login is required for this dashboard page, let us quickly see what other pages this login is required for. So basically, if we are going to this login page, right? Let us go to this accounts views. If someone is already logged in, just give me a second. Yes. If someone is already logged in, and they still come to this login page, then they should not have to log in again, right? If someone is already logged in, then if they go to the login page, they should automatically be redirected to their dashboard or to the home page. Similarly, if the person is logged in and they go on this register page, they should automatically be redirected. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to check if the user, if request.user.is authenticated. In that case, I'm going to return or redirect to their dashboard. All right. And let me quickly copy these lines over here and paste this for the register page as well. All right. Perfect. So now I have made sure that my pages work nicely, that only the things that should be accessible to a particular person should be accessible to that person. Now, similarly, let me go to this tasks page. Let me go to this task page. And in the views for this task page, notice that I have two views over here, add task and add tag. Now, once again, I should want only logged in users. I should want only logged in users to be able to access these pages, right? And I also do not want to display all the task pages. Right? So I'm going to delete this thing. I'm going to add the login required thing over here. So login required, and I'm going to say login URL equals to login. Right? Let me import this function. And for the add tag as well, I'm going to provide the login required thing. Okay. Now, when someone is creating this form for me, this thing for me, notice that this form, this task form, it does not have a user object. Right? It does not have a user field. So I need to provide it the user myself. And to do that, I can simply come over here and I can say form.instance. So the instance of this form, this talks about the object that this form is going to create. Right? So form.instance. And for that, the user, I can supply the user as request.user. And similarly over here in the tag, I can put this as well. So now when anyone tries to create a tag or a task, they first have to be logged in, and whatever tag or task they create, it will be associated with their account so that others will not be able to see this. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let us quickly go to our page now. Let us quickly go to the home page now. I hope that the server is up and running. Let me quickly see what error we have. So we have said, okay, it does not have any index page because we just deleted that index thing. So let me go to task view. So let me go to task URLs and let me remove this view over here. All right. So now we have a server up and running. So let us quickly sign up now. So if I click on sign up, let me enter my username. Let me enter the email. And let me enter the password. So I will click sign up. The moment I click sign up, it will redirect me to the login page. I can now log in. And it will take me to my dashboard. It shows that, hey, welcome Pragya. My tasks are currently none. My tags are currently none. I can add a new task. In this, I can say something like get a haircut, right? And I can add this task. I can add a new tag. So tag can be like shopping. I will add this tag. So notice that get a haircut and shopping are available. All right. Now, if I log out and I create a new account, let's say Raghav. So I create a new account for Raghav at interviewbuild.com. Right. Let me enter some password. So if I click sign up now, it will take me to the login page once again. If I log in as Raghav now, notice that Raghav still cannot see my tasks. Raghav tasks and Raghav tags are empty. If I log out, if I log in as Pragya can see his tasks, but Raghav can't because Raghav doesn't really have any tasks. So what we did over here was we took the tasks and the tag models, we associated them with a particular user. All right. And we made sure that we created these nice logout, login, registration pages. We made sure that certain pages, like the dashboard page, this dashboard page should only be accessible to people who are logged in. Similarly, this tasks/add task page, this should only be available to people who are logged in. Otherwise, this page should not be available. Right? So this is basically what we have done till now. And this is the authentication in Django. Now, once again, Django provides a ton of different functionality. So it totally allows you to customize the user object. It allows you to customize how the registration works, how the login works, what sort of things you want to prevent to show to certain users. There's a ton of customization over there. For that, I would once again encourage you to go to the Django official documentation and go read from there. All right. So this is it for today. We have learned a lot of things. We have learned templates. We have learned views. We have learned requests. We have learned authentication and login. We have learned models. We have learned forms, right? And we have learned templates. So in tomorrow's class, we are going to bring this all together. So we are going to work with this website that we have today. We are going to style it. We are going to make sure that we do not repeat ourselves. So we are going to create a base template. We are going to add some proper CSS and JavaScript to this. And we are going to build a nice website. All right. Perfect. So this is it for today's class. Let us quickly see if we have any questions here. All right. So Raghav is saying, hey, do we need to maintain the session for the logged in user? So no, Raghav, the session is automatically managed for us. So if we go to this thing, if we look at the settings, this sessions application is already installed for us, right? So the sessions are automatically managed. Now, as with all the things in Django, you have complete control over the sessions. If you want to do something with the session, if you want to perhaps unauthenticate the user, if you want to log the user out, if you want to add something to the session, you can totally do that. You have the control over all the cookies and everything that is in the session, all right? But you don't need to manually do it. If you don't want to, you can completely let Django handle it for you, all right? Perfect. Yogesh is asking, do we have groups and group permissions? So yes, Yogesh, in Django, we have all these different things. We have user groups and we have user permissions as well, right? So if you're familiar with role-based authentication, then all this is provided in Django. We are not going to look at it in today's class. So once we bring all the things together, we will also try to, so currently all our users are customers, right? Currently all of our users are customers, and these customers can add their tasks, they can manage their tasks. Perhaps later on, we will want some sort of an administrative user. Perhaps we'll want an administrative user which has some extra privileges. So we will do that in the upcoming lectures. We will not do that today. All right. Perfect. Pranay has a question. Pranay says, can you explain the difference between render and redirect? All right. So render basically renders out a template for you. So let us quickly look at this render function. Let's quickly look at this render function. So the render function, what it does is it takes a request and it takes a template and it takes some additional context. So it optionally, it also takes some context. And what it says is, hey, for this particular request, go to this template, take this context, put it in the template and render it out. Okay, that is what the render thing is doing. On the other hand, the redirect only accepts one name over here, like dashboard. So what the redirect will do is it will say, okay, the name over here is dashboard. So automatically the user's web page will be redirected to the URL for this name over here. Right now, who is supplying this name? We are. So if you go to this urls.py, notice that, if you go to this pages urls.py, notice that I have said that, okay, the name is dashboard and this belongs to the URL /dashboard. All right. So basically, as soon as my code hits this return redirect of dashboard, it will return a new response. In the header of the response, there will be a redirect thing. So in the header itself, it will say that, okay, please redirect to this URL and the URL will be provided. Okay. The next question is CSRF token. How does this work internally? Meaning how it prevents form action not being misused. So CSRF token. So basically, let us actually see the CSRF token in work. So I'm at this login page. Let me go to the source of this page. Okay, let me go to view page source. And over here, I see input type hidden, name equals to CSRF middleware token. And this is the value, right? This is the value. So basically what will happen is Django itself is creating the CSRF token, and in the backend, it is creating the CSRF token and it is storing that in memory, right? Now on the front end, when someone fills in a form, they must be providing some sort of CSRF token for them, right? And notice that whenever I reload this page, a new CSRF token is generated, right? So in the backend, Django has a list of, okay, these all CSRF tokens are valid, right? And whenever Django serves a page, it will automatically provide the CSRF token for that page. But let us say that you are some other website, right? Let us say that I am trying to create a fake Facebook login page, right? So if I'm trying to create that, now in that login page, I will not be able to provide the CSRF token because I don't know what Django has generated in the backend. All right. So Django will basically make sure that whenever this form is submitted, the CSRF token is submitted with it, and the CSRF token should match one of the tokens that Django has generated in its memory. Okay. So I hope this answers both your questions. It seems that we do not really have any other questions. So that is it for today's lecture. Once again, you can find all the code if you go to github.com/scalaracademy/introduction to Django. So this is the page over here. So this is the URL. If you go over there, you will be able to see all the code that we have done so far. You will be able to watch all the videos. You will be able to access our previous introduction to Python series as well. And as for today as well, so for today's code, I will be just after this class is over, I will be uploading today's code as well to this particular repository. Okay. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.